It's the My First Gig podcast, whoa. Sharing stories of first gigs and shows. Comedians sharing their memories. The fun and entertaining, exciting and crazy. With Dwayne Dugan as your host. It's the My First Gig podcast, here we go.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the My First Gig podcast. My name is Dwayne Dugan, I'm your host. It's great to see you again, unless of course this is your first time dropping by, in which case shouldn't you introduce yourself? Hi, nice to meet you. My name is Dwayne, and here we sit down with some of your favourite comedians to discuss how they got started, their life at the time, and of course their first gig. We recorded this chat in Whelan's in Dublin prior to Jamali's show Vape Lord back in October 2018. He had just finished his run at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival and took the tour on the road, and we'll talk about that. He's back on tour now with his new show Strip Club at Einstein. I think there's a date in Whelan's coming, so hold on out for that, check that out. And then he's heading all around the UK to Melbourne, to New Zealand, Australia, and finishing off on May 22nd with his show at the Hackney Empire. If I sound a bit strange to you right now in my introduction here, it's I'm a little stuffed up. I'm down in Cove. It's a little island off of Cork in Ireland. It's about 7 feet away from Cork, but it's still an island where my mother lives and where my cat lives. And I've had the cat since I was 12 years old, and I kind of forgot over time that I'm allergic to cats. Yet I've pretty much had cats since before I was 10 years old. And there was a point there where we realised, like, I was told I was allergic to cats, and my mother was like, he'll be fine. Let's make him fall in love with things that can kill him. That's a nice lesson for life, you know, but maybe that made me stronger. But it definitely didn't, because I'm a weak boy, mentally, physically, and in everyday life, willpower and such. But I do like to see my cat, as in May she will turn 20 years old. That's right, 20 years old, which people like to tell me is very old for a cat, but she doesn't seem old, you know. Like, I've seen 15-year-old cats who can't open their eyes, and this cat, you know, she's older, she's got her ailments, but like, she's fine. She just ran up the stairs. She sits here and just like shouts at me and stuff. It's great. And I went online to try and find the oldest cats in the world, right? I wanted to find out what the oldest cats in the world were, so I went straight for the Guinness World Records, and I found this article, although it's from 2014. It says the world's oldest living cat, 24-year-old Poppy, is the new world record holder. And I'm looking at the cat now. It's a nice cat. It looks a bit haggard, but it does look nice. It's standing on a red carpet with a couple of presents, which they're useless. Can't open them. And then what can only be described as the image of a cake formed out of the ends of a couple of tins of food, but like multiple tins, and varied enough that they're different colours so that we can see, you know, that it looks a bit textured and a bit colourful, with candles in the top of it saying 24, which, like, that's not nice. If you're 24, you're like 112 in human years. And it's like, here's 5 different dinners on top of each other, all different flavours, with some candles in it. Like, it's just going to, whether it's 112 in human years or 24 in cat years, it's just going to shit itself anyway. That's not very nice. Oh, what a start to this article. Poppy was born in February 1990. The same month, Nelson Mandela was released from prison. End of paragraph. Sure, that's like an occasion everybody remembers, but it's not what you want to associate with your birth. Where is she? She's from Bournemouth. She's lived through 5 British Prime Ministers, but is now a frail old lady and spends most of her time inside relaxing. Now, it's an old article. It's 6 years old. I don't want to look up how Poppy's doing now, but this does get me sad, because it says here that Poppy won the prize following the death of Pinky, a cat from Kansas who passed away last year at the age of 23. Now, granted, it's the world's oldest living cat, but I guess I didn't realise that when I read it, and I was like, oh no, not only does the cat die, but they take its award away? I was like, no way. I got a little too sad at that. I looked up the oldest cats ever that ever existed, not just living, and I found this website, oldest.org, right? So I think they should know. Oldest organisation. Recently added articles: 10 oldest trees in America, 10 oldest college football games, 10 oldest cities, 10 oldest companies, and here we have the 7 oldest cats ever. And number 7 Right, so we're going to start off with number 7, the Scooter. Born in 1987, died in 2016. 31 years and 13 days. Siamese cat from Mansfield, Texas. And it looks nice. But that's number 7, you know? We've got 6 more here, like 31 years and 13 days Scooter. You just missed out. By a whisker. Oh, thank you. Thank you. So at number 6, we've got, that's a fat cat. At number 5, we've got a cat that looks like a wall. At number 4 is Sarah. Sarah looks very angry to be alive. I would be too if I was 33 years old. Number 3, oh my God. Number 3, we've got Grandpa Rex Allen. Like, Google Grandpa Rex Allen. A mixture of a Sphinx and a Devon Rex owned by Jake Perry in Austin, Texas. Oh no. Oh no. There's got like these little checkboxes and it's like oldest age reached, the breed, the owner, the country of origin, and then the last one, the little tick box, and it says still alive. And this one just says no. Oh. But like, I'm looking at this photo. It doesn't look alive when this photo was taken. It's a photograph of a photograph being held by 2 hands, which are probably the oldest hands I've ever seen in my life. Look at that cat. That has seen some things. Oh my God. It says here that your man Jake Perry mentioned in the previous entry. What's he doing to these cats that he's keeping these cats for a long time? I guess that's nice. It says here that Grandpa's owner is a well-known for raising long-lived cats, and in an interview, Perry said that he loves his cats so much that he remembers all of their birthdays. I don't know why I'm painting this guy out to be a bad guy. This is who I want to be when I'm older. Here, what? Perry even sent an invitation to President Bill Clinton for Grandpa's 34th birthday, but Clinton could not attend and sent a card with his regrets. 34th birthday, so in 1998. So yeah, whilst Bill Clinton was president, he wrote a letter to a cat to say, I cannot make your party. Sorry about that. The world is mental. Number 2, Cream Puff. Oh no. It's the same man. It's the same hands holding a picture. It's a photo as well, because it's like in a basket with a butterfly. This isn't real. This man is just going, I have a really old cat. It's like, where is it? I have a painting. Cream Puff. A tabby minx, 38 years and 3 days. That is insane. What's number 1? Number 1 is Lucy, 39 years, from South Wales. It says, while a vet could not confirm Lucy's exact age, the doctor was impressed by how old the cat was and estimated her to be around 172 years. Like 172, you'd be like, here, put me out of my misery, you lunatic. Stop taking my photo for the internet. Born in 1972, died in 2011. Like, that cat was outliving me for a long time. 39 years. I don't know who verified the cats from oldest.org, but the photo here of Lucy, don't mean to put a damper on proceedings, but this is a picture of a dead cat. That cat is not alive. If it is alive, then like it's been hooked up to some machine or something. That cat is not alive. But you know who is alive? Jamali Maddix is alive. Boom! That's how we do transitions here. So I'm going to stop talking about cats. We're going to listen to the chat. As I said, yeah, we recorded this in Whelan's October 2018 before his show. Great show in Whelan's. Oh yeah, it's podcast time, guys. Here we go. It's my first gig with Jamali Maddix.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was still writing the show when I was in Edinburgh because I was doing something beforehand. So I was away for like 2 months. So I've still been working on the show up until recently. Even now, I'm still adding little bits here and there, and yeah.
You don't think it's ever finished?
I mean, yeah. I mean, you get it to a point where you're happy to do it, and you kind of stop writing jokes for it, I think.
Sure, yeah.
I think, but you can always do stuff new with a joke, but then you kind of always got a. I think there has to come to a point where you go, okay, this group of ideas I'm done with. And even if I come back to it in 5 years or some shit, do you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I think, you know, there has to come to a point where you go, okay, this is the show now. And I don't think I've got it with this show yet, if I'm being honest with you.
Okay, interesting.
But I think I'll get it. Yeah, I don't think the show's not there yet. It's good enough, but it's not there. You know, it's not. Sorry about that. It's not there yet. You know. So I'm just wrecking the place. Fuck Wheelers, man.
As long as it's your equipment.
Yeah, it's only my iPhone though. I haven't dropped your stuff.
Is there a moment that you realise, right, you're saying you're not at that point yet. Do you know when you reach that point?
I guess it's you just know it in yourself. Hello, you're right. You just know it in yourself. And I think there's no sort of like, okay, it's been 6 months, so now it's
sure, yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? I don't think there's any method to it. I think you just got to know in yourself where you go, okay. I think it's when you go, okay, I want to move away from these set of ideas. I want to move on to another set of ideas. That's why I think Edinburgh's a good bookmark, where you go, okay, this is a year now. This is what I've done in a year. Maybe let me try and work on something else for that year.
How would you do it now? So you took this show to Edinburgh this year.
Yeah.
Would you take it there next year or
this show? No.
No. Would you have a new show ready by next year? Or would you wait for the following? Maybe.
I don't know if I'm going to go back to Edinburgh next year. I might do a work in progress. There's a couple other things I want to do.
Because that's what I mean. If you're still kind of if your head's still in this and like getting into like the final point.
Yeah. I mean, I'll wrap up the shows after I've done the Australian tour. But then how the show was in Edinburgh and how it is now is two totally different shows. You know, because especially in Edinburgh, you're trying to, this Edinburgh was kind of a weird one for me because it made me realize that I try to force a narrative to it. Okay. When I think the narrative is just the feeling how I'm writing. And I kind of had realized that. And I'm like, I don't need to do it of like, have the wrap up at the end and go, that's how my mum made me feel or whatever not saying that's bad. I mean, I wish I could write narratives. I'm not dissing narrative shows. I think some of my favorite shows have been narrative shows. But at the same time, it's like, I can only, I got to do it my way. And my way is just trying to write. My through line is the emotion. So that's what I'm sort of working towards now. So, I mean, I'll wrap up this show after Australia. I think I'll wrap this up. Maybe try and record it, try and lay it down somewhere. Because I'm happy with some of the routines on this show.
Sure, yeah.
So, yeah, I think another 3 routines I need for this to I'm happy with it.
And just go back to something you mentioned there. While it's not necessary, obviously, do you feel a pressure? Like I think in general, pressure, especially for say an Edinburgh show that it needs say like a narrative to back it.
I did. I don't now. I did though. Yeah, 100%. I felt as if that was the dumb thing, so I felt like I had to kind of fit in with that. But and it's like early on, but I don't now. No, now I just like, you know what, man, I can only do what I do good.
Yeah, of course.
Do you know what I'm saying? And it's like, I could try and do some other shit, but that's not what I do. There's no, and unless it comes naturally, what's the point of doing it if it ain't me?
Because it won't be your best then, obviously.
It won't be my best. I won't be happy with it. It won't be honest. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to do now is write honest.
There's so much going on, especially this year. This year was insane up in Edinburgh. Just there's too much going on almost. You almost need, like, I think the pressure comes from you need to sell your show in one line almost.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of lucky because I sort of come off the back of a TV show. So that kind of relieves pressure in terms of the extra selling. And I don't play a massive room. It's the biggest room I've played. In terms
I guess
of
I was selling yourself rather than the show itself.
Yeah, well, I don't know, man. I mean, it's a bit of both, brother, I think, I didn't ask the audience why they came. Do you know what I'm saying?
Sure, yeah, no, of course.
But, it's like, there is that pressure of like, well, I need to set it in a line and stuff. And I think you kind of just have to do the best show you can and then do what you can when you're up there. And, and if you have a good show, people will come. I still believe in some type of justice to that if you have a bumping show, like if you have a show where motherfuckers are standing ovation in your ass, but you can't write in a sentence, I think you'll be all right still.
Yeah, like word of mouth.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think, but I understand what you're saying. I think there is that perceived pressure, and I think I've been victim to it too. But I think there's pressure all around in Edinburgh. You got showbiz pressure, you got motherfuckers telling you, yo, this is the thing you want and all of that. And then when you really break it down, it's like you got to really think about what you want out of it. And what I wanted out of it wasn't the things I was told I wanted out of it.
Sure. You can't have 4,000 shows trying to achieve the same thing. No. It doesn't make sense.
No.
Before we talk about your first gig, if I can take you right back, and if I'd ask you what's your first memory of comedy that at least comes to mind, do you know what that is?
Honestly, man, like, if we're just saying comedy, you know, and not talking about stand up and stuff like that. I remember, well, I think it was stand up. My earliest memory, 2 memories come into my mind. One was my Uncle Mark, and I remember just thinking he was the funniest dude alive. Do you know what I'm saying? And it was just fart jokes, but I remember just thinking that shit was hilarious. Do you know what I'm saying? And the other memory is Paramount TV. I don't know who the comic was, but it was this comic, and he was talking about. I think he was an American comic. He was talking about how when you're on the underground and people are like leaning over to look if the train's coming. And I remember my mum's husband was just crying with laughter. And I remember that, you know, watching that. And I didn't really even understand. I never, you know, I don't think I've even been on the underground at that point.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? But I just remember him crying with laughter.
Yeah, it's just that, you know, it's him laughing rather than maybe what's...
Yeah. All I remember the bit was about him looking out. And I remember this other bit. It might have been like a Freddie Starr or something. But I remember watching it with my family, and he was taking the piss out of French French numbers. So he was like cat sank sea, and he was saying like, you know, the cat sank, and all this type of shit. And I remember just like, you know, everyone was laughing in the room, and I didn't understand what the joke was. I didn't understand the premise, but I remember that sort of idea of that laughter and what that laughter kind of, you know. I mean, I say that now as a 27-year-old man. Well, I think it was how the laughter was perceived. Like, oh fuck, you know, it's just people laughing. Do you know what I'm saying? And that type of thing was making people laugh. Yeah.
But I guess it was attractive seeing people laugh, or seeing someone make someone laugh.
Yeah. I mean, I think the attractiveness of people laughing is sort of some childhood damage. But I don't know, man. But you know, I mean, I like to, you know, overanalyze it and say, yeah, and that's when, you know, I don't know.
Do you remember the first time you saw stand-up live there in the room?
Live, yes. No, it was 2 times. There was one, and I know which one came before. I remember one where my sister and me had went to Barbican Theatre in London, and it was these comics over from America. And I remember I bought a DVD off one of them. And I remember playing the DVD, and he was telling the jokes that he had told on stage. And I remember being like, but I already saw it. Like, I didn't understand that you obviously it's his routine, but you know, he kept these routines going. And the other time I saw live comedy, I went to a gig in London. It's a controversial gig. I think it's gone now. It was by a guy called Inky Jones, and it was, you know, it's all politics. I ain't gonna get into why it's controversial, but I remember watching that gig in central London. Yeah. I was with my friend Kendra and Ramon.
How long would this be before you decided to do comedy?
That's a good question. Not that long, man. Not that long.
So it wasn't too long after seeing it that you thought maybe I want to try this?
Yeah, maybe months.
Okay.
Maybe months.
That's quite quick, yeah.
Yeah, maybe months. I don't think it was years.
What made you want to do it? Or think you could?
I don't know, you know, man. Like, I know when I initially wanted to do something. Well, do you know, it's weird. And we can get into that when you say first gig, because I've got 2 first gig stories. And
a lot of people do, funnily enough.
And one I forgot about. We'll get into that in a second. What was the original question, sir?
What made you want to try it?
Don't know, man. This, you know, I just kind of... I remember when I was young. I mean, it's a story I've told other times, but I could tell it again. I was about 14. I was at my dad's house. I was smoking weed. And I was watching the 100 Greatest Comedians on Channel 4. And then number 4, I think it was number 4 or 5 came on. It was Bill Hicks. And I remember thinking, what the fuck is this? Like, it just shit everything. I was just like, yo, this is crazy. Because it was like, you know what I mean? It was motherfuckers smoking cigarettes, wearing all black, talking about the government. I was like, yo, that's crazy, man. I remember I wanted to do that. I remember I wanted that. I don't know what it was, but I wanted that. Okay. I don't say be political or be whatever. Maybe at that time, probably I thought I was more smart than I was, but I remember I just wanted that sort of, whatever that was, I wanted that, you know? Yeah,
because a lot of people will say when they first see it on a TV or something, they want to go see it in person.
Yeah, it felt normal. Watching it felt like, oh, that's normal. That's normal. Like, it felt right. I can't explain it. It felt something. You know, I felt something. I was like, that's it. That's the thing. I don't know what the thing was. Like, it's hard to explain even. But I remember seeing comedy and being
they're walking something.
Anyway. Yeah, I remember thinking, that's it. That's the thing. And I remember being like, I remember happy I found it. I was like, that's it. That's the thing. I don't know if I was looking for it even, but I was like, that's it. That's the thing. That a man on stage or a female, whatever the fuck, you know what I'm saying? Just a person on stage. That's it. Do you see what I'm saying? And that was a big point for me, yeah.
So how'd you go about getting a gig then? Because like,
well, I grew up in London, so it was kind of a lot easier. You know?
There is like open mics
there was
around.
there was a friend I had called Ao. Shouts to Ao. And he had me, and there was a girl that he knew. And I met Ao on this. I'd done this short film years ago. Like when I was young. And I met him on the set, and I remember saying I want to do comedy. So what he did was he had booked the gig and said, look, we're just going to go watch some comedy. When I got there, he was like, you know you're on.
Oh my God, oh.
I put you on. And I went up, and it was all right. But I remember like, wow, like, yeah. Like, you know, he just put me on, man.
Like, that's different to being dropped in the deep end. That's thrown in upside down.
But it was good though, because I would never have done it. Like, I respect him for that. Like, he really, because he knew I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
And so he just said, you're doing it. You know what I'm saying? It was, yeah, I owe him a lot actually.
Where was that?
It was in King's Cross, a place called Lion's Den, and the guy who ran it's passed away now. His name was Tim.
Yeah, it was last year.
Yeah, he died last year of cancer. And Tim used to run that gig in King's Cross, and then it moved to Bar Umber in Piccadilly. But I remember I used to go there, it was King's Cross, and it used to be me, I think Gabriel Bulu, that's where I met my friend Gabriel. I've known Gabriel since I was like 17. I was like 17 at the time. I know Gabriel since I was like 17. That's like 10 years. Fuck me, 10 years now. And, you know, guys who I've come up with and that, you know, Darius Davis was there, and James Loveridge, guys I still see around. And
you said earlier that you had kind of two first gigs. I'm guessing that's the first
one. Yeah, and it's something that someone reminded me of. And now I remember it. I go, fuck, it happened, right? Is basically I was in primary school. So I must have been a baby, bro. Must have been like 9 or something. Maybe 10. And what happened was there was a talent show. And the two kids I was doing it with, they were doing sketches. And they had wrote me, it was called a DD show. Right, one was called Declan and one was called, was it Declan and Declan? It might have been Declan and Declan. Both of them called Declan or some shit. And they had that, and they do these little sketches. And they had wrote me into the sketch. Can't remember, I think I muscled my way. I thought I want to be on that shit. So they wrote me in the sketch. And I pop out at the end and do a little, ugh. And one of them, or somebody, like there's little kids and when they're doing like a show and one of them don't want to go on stage, so they start crying. Yeah. They're like, I don't want to go. Whatever, the nerves hit them or something. So the teachers went, Jamali, get out there. And I said, do what? You could just get out there. I remember I went out and just did impressions and shit. And I was doing jokes and I was just like, I was going up to people like, go and shake my hand. And then I put it back and start dancing. And I was a little fat kid as well. So just imagine this little fat kid. He can't touch this and all this type of shit. And I remember I had this shirt and I flicked my collars up and I was pretending I was Harry Hill and stuff. And bro, do you hear the funny thing? I've never even seen Harry Hill. I just seen a photo and I'm flipping up my collars like I'm Harry Hill. And people were laughing and shit. And I must have like, 3-4 minutes.
Well, I was going to ask you about like, how do you go about writing when you haven't done it before? But you've got 2 gigs here of sorts.
Nah. But the second time with that King's Cross one, I had wrote bits.
Okay.
Like I had bits.
So you had bits, but you hadn't gone out and gotten a gig?
No, I'd wrote something.
So that's why, is it AO, do you say?
Yeah, AO.
That's why he gave you the push, I guess.
I guess so, yeah. He just knew I needed to get out.
Yeah.
But I think I had wrote bits. I think I had bits. I might have riffed a little bit, but I had bits. Yeah.
Okay, so what did you do to write then?
Just what I thought was funny, and I wrote it down on a piece of paper, and I would watch other comedians and see kind of what a joke structure was. I think that's me looking at it now as a professional comedian. But I don't know. I just wrote and just wrote things I thought were funny. But looking back on it, it had no structure probably. I haven't seen either. I can't remember what the fuck I was saying.
Do you remember anything at all? Any of those early?
What, a bit?
Just even opening joke or something?
Man, I didn't really have one-liners. No, I can't. I think I had one about. No, I can't really remember what I said. I'm sure I got an old notepad somewhere or a piece of paper I could find it, but no, I can't remember, man.
It's just that's 10 years ago, so we're talking what, 2008.
Yeah, and then I started done that, and I didn't do another show for like fucking forever. And then maybe I started picking it back up about 19, 20. 20s when I started taking it seriously.
When you went back at 19 or 20, was it like start doing another first time?
Yeah.
Because obviously every gig almost at that early stage is terrifying.
Yeah. I think I've, let's say it's your first 100 gigs. I think even, yeah. So I was still like, fucking dog shit and that.
How did you go about? You didn't know about that first show in King's Cross, but how did you go about booking your own first gigs then?
Because so I'd done lines then a lot, and then I'd ask people, and then they put me on the Comedy Collective. There's like a thing called, it's like a Facebook group, and you used to book gigs through that, and someone would see you and say, hey, do you want to come do 5 at my gig in Foxville? And you go, yeah, sure, and you go do 5. Do you know what I'm saying? And you kind of word of mouth, and then you kind of speak to people, or you email people, or you know what I'm saying, or you know someone. He goes, oh, I run a gig in blah 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 blah, and you go, okay, cool. Because so back in then, the London open mic scene was just bubbling, really. Yeah, I think and people might be listening to this who are real historians and be like, "You talking shit?" But from what my memory was, it was about to blow up again, because the open mic now is exploded. There's fucking tons of open mics in London, but just when I was coming up, there was a lot, but there was a lot of open micers, but there's not as many as there was now. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But even then, we considered it a lot of them, but there wasn't that many considering now. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Even here, the last maybe
Crazy.
18 months, 24 months, it's
just exploded. So yeah, man, and it was like, there was gigs, man. There was just gigs. There's gigs everywhere. You could gig maybe 3 times a night if you were on it. Do you know what I'm saying? I was mad. Like, you work, and the gigs were shit. Some of them were shit, man. But you could get up. And then, you start becoming friends with people, and you become like a regular at an open mic. Like, I might know the promoter. Like, there was one club, Jesters.
Yeah.
Up in the Pear Tree in Farringdon.
Jonathan
Hearn.
Yeah.
I like Jonathan Hearn. And they had what the fuck's what's the other guy's name? I can't remember. He was fucking funny as well, but I can't remember his name. But anyway, Jonathan Hearn would book that, and we, must have worked with John, gig for John Mad Times, and then so it came to a point where I could pop in.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Because that's what happens. You get to that level where you can pop in. So, you do
so
one
you
gig.
something new that day, you can drop in.
Yeah, I can drop
give it
in.
a go.
You know what I'm saying? And there was other little gigs like that. And then, I sort of built from that, and I went to Comedy Caf. And I trialed for the Comedy Caf. I had won his new act of the year, the Comedy Caf up in Shoreditch. It's closed down now, sadly. And I used to do that, and then I became a regular there. So I could drop in any Wednesday. So I used to go dropping on a Wednesday. I could do 10 minutes to a real crowd. And I built up there. You know what I'm saying?
Just kind of bit by bit, snowball.
Bit by bit. Then Top Secret Comedy Club. That started breaking now. So I was going there on a Monday. I could pop, done it a couple of times. He thought he liked me. I could drop in there. So you kind of, you build and build and build, and then you start dropping in.
That first gig, so then, how many people are we talking on the bill?
Man, that must be like 15, 16.
So it's a big one.
Yeah,
5-minute spots, I'm guessing.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. And a lot of them had a lot of these open mics when I was coming up were fucking just. I swear on this podcast. Yeah, I think I broke that seal. But there'll be tons of people. Tons. I remember there'll be like 15 people on the bill easily. Easily 15 people on the bill.
And at what stage does AO let you know that actually you're on?
I think I had got there and said, you know what, I fancy going up. And AO was like, don't worry, you're already on. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think there was some type, I think it wasn't like, like I think I had said, I think I might want to go up,
Was there an element of like kind of calling your bluff a little bit? You were like, oh shit, no.
Maybe at the time. Maybe I had a bit of bravado in my voice at the time, and I was hoping that they would say, no, you can't do it. But I did it anyway.
Do you remember who was hosting that night?
A guy called Tyrone Atkins. He used to host Lions Den. He wasn't a host in the later years, but he's on the host.
When you know you're next.
And he does pulled out the hat. It was random.
Pull out of the hat.
Yeah, it was random.
That's nerve wracking.
Yeah.
But I guess you're always ready then.
Well, it was nerve wracking, but at the same time, it's like you didn't know any different. That was just what it was.
You gotta pull off the band-aid then.
Yeah. Yeah, it's mad. Do you know what, bro? You're making me think about some shit, bro. Because I ain't, you know when I ain't thought about this forever. Because I feel like when you do comedy, especially when you become professional, it just becomes normal now. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I've been doing this for a long time now, in terms of the grand scheme of things.
Sure, yeah.
Basically, I grew up doing it. Because, you know, taking 19, 20, you know, maybe
Pivotal
18.
years, like.
Maybe 18, I was hanging around the comedy clubs. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that was my pivotal years. And I wasted it. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. But no, you know what I mean? I grew up in the comedy clubs, really. I just grew up around it, like. So it became normal. Like, I don't, you know. So it's hard to think, oh, when I was then. Because, you know, I was just, you know, I'm me now. You know? But, yeah, man, it's kind of fun still.
Any memories of being on stage that night? It went okay?
Yeah. I remember it being fine. It was being fine. It was fine. It wasn't nothing really to call home about.
What was it like getting your first laugh then? Like when you're going back and you're sitting and there's that joke about being on the tube and you're sitting on the couch laughing and now people are reacting to you.
It wasn't even the laughter. I mean, there was elements of the laughter, like I enjoyed that. But it's just I don't know what it was, but I just liked it. You know, I just liked doing it, you know? And it wasn't sort of out of this thing of like, I love all the attention, because I'm not really like that personally. Like a person, I don't really like attention and shit. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you know. But it was just, I don't know what it was, man. It just felt right, you know? I think there's a certain, it felt like an uncomfortableness had been relieved of me in a weird way.
Okay.
That's very personal to say, but I feel like an uncomfortableness has been relieved of me. And I really felt right. Do you know what I'm saying? Even when it's bad, it felt right.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? No, it just feels right to do it.
I guess it's without making it sound pretty, it's what you're kind of made to do.
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe.
And if you're not doing it, then...
Yeah. Maybe. But I just don't know. I just felt like... I just remember thinking, okay, that's me. It's me now. You know? I thought I've just always done it now.
And Tyrone says your name.
Yeah.
You now have to go up.
Yep.
Short walk to the stage.
Yep. Short, very short. Too short.
If you today, sitting here, can go back, quickly pull yourself to the side. You're about to go up now and do your first 5 minutes, and you're here 10 years later. What do you think you'd say to yourself if you could go back and offer 17-year-old Jamali advice?
Shit,
in that moment.
Honestly, I say, mate, welcome to the best, worst decision of your life. You know? Honestly, I wouldn't say nothing, because I think I had to experience that. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think not knowing is part of the fun of it.
Yeah.
You know, because I think in life we kind of, you know, you get bogged down a bit with this stuff. But what's gonna happen? And you go, whatever happens. That's it. That's the experience you had. So get something from it. You know what I'm saying? And you know, you out here worrying. But what about tomorrow? Are you in tomorrow today? So what the fuck you give a shit about tomorrow? You might not even make it. You know what I'm saying? Like, enjoy now. Worrying about tomorrow and the future and 10 years and all of that, man. You know? But, because, you know, that moment you have, being up there, you ain't never going to get that again. Do you know what I'm saying? That sort of, you have everything. You have hope and dreams and aspirations and fear and the unknown. And you ain't never going to feel that again. So it's good to enjoy that. Because that's what it's about, isn't it? It's about, I think you can go through life it just being a monotonous same routine and that, and I think it's good to do something that it throws all of that out of place and put yourself uncomfortable, make yourself happy, make yourself sad, all these things are good. So I wouldn't say nothing. I'd let nature take its course and see what happens. I'll probably be cringing at the side thinking like, what the fuck are you saying? But that's nothing with that.
It's been great chatting your first gig. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much for having me, brother. Appreciate
No problem.
It. All right.
And that's that. Jamali Maddix, my first gig in the can. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for staying tuned in. Hope you enjoyed the chat. If you haven't heard the past chats in the archives, James Acaster, Ardla Hannon, Reggie Hunter, Laura Lex, Catherine Bohart, Stuart Goldsmith, and many more to come over the next couple of weeks. Be sure to keep in touch with us and find out who's going to appear next Wednesday before anybody else by following the show at My First Gig Pod on Facebook, on Instagram, and on Twitter. If you enjoyed the show and you're still listening, it's early days. We're episode 7. I say this almost every week, but please just head on over to Twitter, head on over to your Instagram stories, and just put out a post saying, really enjoyed the episode, maybe you should check it out. That's how we get the word out here. That's how other people hear it. The more people who hear it, the more acts are inclined to do it. The better guests I get for you, the better fun you have on a Wednesday, and we all just have a good time. Jamali Maddix is on tour now. He is tonight, if you're listening to this closely, and you are in Leicester or nearby, head on out to Leicester. We got Nottingham, we got Southampton, we got Shrewsbury, we got Wolverhampton, York, Sheffield, Liverpool, Leeds, Bath, Cambridge, Norwich, Glasgow, Edinburgh, Tyneside, Bristol, Birmingham, before heading off to Australia, to New Zealand, back to Australia, and then finishing off at the Hackney Empire in May. So guys, check that out. JamaliMaddix.com for tour dates. Follow him online. And you know what? If you liked him and give him a follow, say, hey, just following you after hearing you on the My First Gig podcast. That lets them know that the podcast was good. It's all about trust here, guys. If you liked it, let's build some trust. If you've enjoyed me and you'd like to hear more from me, then follow me across all the socials at Dwayne Dugan, DuaneDoogan. If you're in Dublin, come down to Cherry Comedy on a Monday. Let's get out there and do it. You know, we don't want to just be lying around here wondering what the hell is this all for. And on that somber note, no, I won't let you go with that. Guys, go away, have a great week. We'll see you next week, next Wednesday, for episode 8. Thank you so much for tuning in. Go high five someone, and we'll see you again soon. Cheers, guys. Thank you. Bye.
It's the My First Gig podcast. Whoa.